My name is Neil Kulkarni. I've been with the wireless team now for a little over 4 years. And I'm excited to be here, because I'm a Wi-Fi geek at heart. And I think just being with this audience feels like being with family. So for everyone who's streaming live and for all the audience here, again, warm greetings. You will see this theme come through. By the way, what our team does and what I lead with the wireless team is the overall AI ops assurance and applications for specific verticals. So you will see that come through in terms of what we're talking. So everything that Jim covered, the auto RF piece, the AI ops pieces that we touched is things that we touched upon in our team. And joining me today for the presentation is Ali.
Hi guys, Ali. I'm at TME with Cisco Wireless, and this is my real name, Ali. It's not a typo. First and last name, my parents loved me so much.
All right. So, everything that you've heard today, right? I think one thing that's clear to you, and hopefully it becomes clear to you as we go through this, is we are on a mission here. And the mission here is really to break the barriers that our customers face in terms of complexity they experience and ways and opportunities we can bring as a unified wireless team to simplify that, right? And what I'm talking to you today in context of this is solutions that target MDUs, multi-dwelling units, be it in the context of, dorm room solutions, be it in the context of senior living facilities, be it in the context of, hospitality even. All of those are at the core multi-dwelling units. And what's unique about these things is every person who comes and has experience there, they are used to an experience that's set precedent for them at home. They want to have that same personal experience in that room that they go in a hotel room or in a dorm room, right? And that's exactly what we're trying to simplify. And what you will see is, I think, hopefully most of you have heard the term UDN before as the catalyst solution for user-defined networks. And on the Meraki side or Meraki stack, the solution that addresses this is called Wi-Fi Personal Network or WPN. So we are simplifying the UDN solution here, and I'll walk you through what the simplification is, but we are essentially reducing the core dependencies and how many components it has down from 5 to 3. And then the thing that the end user gets or the customers get is a unified experience for what the end customer actually experiences, meaning the students or the people in senior living facilities, they now have exactly the same experience through what they would experience with WPN or UDN. And I'll walk you through how. So with that context, this slide just gives you what the current UDN solution looked like, right? And you can see the number of components that this had. Now, in and itself, some of these make sense, but I think the feedback that we got from customers is there are some challenges to adoption the more you have dependencies come through. And you have all experienced this. The more components you have, the more firmware versions I need to depend on, the more matrix it becomes in terms of, okay, if I upgrade this, does this feature still stay in sync? Something goes out of sync, right? So with all those things in mind, what we have come and done is the next piece, which is the new UDN solution, which we're calling UDN Plus. And the simplification here is the previous slide told you there was the WLCs, there was ICE, there was DNAC, there was a cloud portal that you needed, and then you had a mobile app. Of those things, the core engine remains the same, meaning the WLC, where all the policy enforcement happens, and then ICE, which defines the policies, those remain the same. But the other three components go away, and that is now serviced by Splash Access as our exclusive partner. And the reason we are going down this route is this, which is what it actually brings for our customers. So if you see this piece, it's very apparent that now the portal experience is one and the same. Meaning when I go in, and if take a customer journey for that example, right? There are customers of ours today who actually are transitioning from an on-prem solution at times to cloud. For them, the end customer really will never see this transition because they will have the exact same experience that they were continuing to have before and after. The backend changed in terms of what the components were, but how the process was laid out for the customer remained the same.
So the Splash Access, sorry, I must have missed it. I apologize.
Sure.
Is that part of like Cisco Wireless, or is that like a third party?
That's the third party. That's an exclusive Cisco Meraki partner for over 11 years.
And that will, and with that, it for client onboarding basically and registration and all that.
It serves two purposes, and I'll give you that. That's where I was coming next, which is what the unique benefits of having that approach brings us.
Okay.
Any other questions before we go there?
Procurement.
Yes.
Do we get it straight from Cisco?
Not today, but that's something we are working on as well.
Okay.
So the key thing I want to call out is, if you ask me again, is this solution new? I think this space has been there for a while now, right? I will be up and honest. It's not like the solution in terms of solving for MDUs is new, but I think what's new is what benefit it will offer to the admins. And so from a Splash Access perspective, there are unique integrations into resident management systems. So take, for example, StarRes. It's a cloud portal that has the entire management of when a student is going to be there in this campus from 2 semesters, 3 semesters, all of that. What that enables is now the entire life cycle of account management. So for example, if every student gets a password, that password of how long do you maintain that account is all automated just based on the data of how long they're going to be in campus. So that is some of the things that this brings us. And on top of that, it also gives us native integration into things like Shibboleth, Okta, Duo, Azure AD, all of that. So that way, the credentials that you use to get into and access this is also automated. And one and the last thing before I hand it to Ali is the fact that the entire piece of password management, refresh, is also self-service, meaning the end student or whoever is accessing it can now go and visualize their password, QR code, scan it, and update it if they ever want to refresh it. The admin is out of that equation. So a lot of overhead that admins face today of doing these processes goes away. Yes.
So in this diagram, is the MFA part, is that just an enrollment?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. It's basically, you could have multiple domains, one for teachers, one for students, all of that, right? So and then multi-factor authentication that comes through Duo, Okta, whatever. So all of that combined.
So just to set the context right, so the simplification, we're bringing unified simplification for both Meraki and Catalyst Wireless. This is a dashboard I'm showcasing, which integrates with Meraki, which has been there for a long time. It's not new. But what we are doing here is that we're bringing in the ICE integration, or the third piece, which we have from the Splash Access, just to integrate to the APIs of the ICE. So we don't require the previously having a UDN cloud piece and then integrating with the DNS center. So we are removing all those pieces and just integrating with ICE and setting that up for the UDN. Now, we can also do like ICE overrides as well. If the customer wants to do, set them in a different student groups, or maybe a test group. For example, there's some facility you want to test some devices for different users. You can send that to with some ICE overrides through Splash Access. Again, as we talked about, the integration with Okta and Azure AD, so all those things are available from a single page for the admin side to do from the Splash Access. So you have ICE integration, StarRes. You want to do, dual factor, you can enable it. So all those things are available on Splash, and that can be pushed towards the ICE set and do a UDN or a WPN, whatever use cases you are doing. Now, second context is how the user onboards the devices. I'm going to give you the whole flow from device registration to the process. The device shows up with two users. For example, over here, I'm going to just play this video. So for example, one user is already getting the Splash page. This is a portal which you will have from Splash coming to the end user. And that can be, I'll just pause it here. That can be accessed either by a link we send you before the user even goes to the school or somewhere. If you register for a room, for example, send an email and say, oh, this is your link. You can register your devices from here. So that's the page they can log in. And that can be integrated with Duo, Azure AD at the back end. Now, the good thing is we can set up a unique password, as we talked about. So this unique password can be updated by the end user, depending upon or what are they using, the backend. And the process is, now they add the devices. Previously in the UDN cloud, you have, or on the app, in the UDN app if you're using, you have to have an app and register devices through that. You don't require it. It's a web portal. You can use it on your phone. You can use it on your laptops, whatever. So you add a device here. And here I'm just showing when the device is added, what the background is. So it goes to the ICE, and it pushes all those configurations to the ICE. It's a little deep dive. And what UDN ID is being generated, and the password here. Now, we have a second user. Here, I'm just going to show you. Now, second user also comes in, and that can be anybody. If they have the same access, they can register the login, and now you can see they will have a different password here, and they can generate it, keep on generating the new password for all the devices, but the process remains the same. They add their device, and all those devices can be added through a QR scan code. They can connect to it with that particular password. But the thing is, they do need to register devices to get them on the same private network. So both of them, user one and the user two, which is ARIA, and here I'm just showing this, they enter this, what you call their device on a single SSID. The clients are still connected, and you can see that I have all of them connected on a single SSID and same IP or the same subnet, which means that if they have any MDNS services, they will all be seeing each other, right? But that's not the case if you have this UDN Plus enabled or WPN enabled on your network. So ARIA gets a different UDN ID, and Tim get a different one. And now if we are saying one iPhone connected on the same SSID, trying to access the network, and he should be able to see only their devices which are registered previously, which I showcased on the splash page. Same subnet, and the person on the left is seeing only its device, and the person on the right, ARIA phone, should be able to see only their own devices. Both of them have their own private network. Wherever they go, they can carry that with them.
So
any questions?
Yeah. So how do you differentiate this internally between, say, just deploying ICE or just deploying ICE with spaces versus this with Splash Access solution?
So Splash Access is just providing you Spaces doesn't have that facility to provide you the UDN IDs and all. Splash Access is doing it with Rocky previously, and then we're bringing that in with the Catalyst, just integrating with ICE.
So just to double click, right? For an MDU specific solution, which is in context of what we are showing here, Splash Access is that portal. You don't have any equivalent solution in the Cisco stack today that gives you that solution. In terms of the entire registration workflow, the end customer workflow for QR code scan, that doesn't exist.
So if you're looking for self-registration and private group,
that's correct.
Cisco's recommendation is Splash Access is the right way.
Correct, at scale, right? So there are certain things, for example, in the Meraki stack, you can do a solution of IPSK based where the WPN functionality is available, and customers can go and create those passwords by their own through the dashboard portal or even through APIs. But then if you actually want the end user to self-service some of this and automate some of this, then you need the Splash portal.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, y'all can. I mean, you can do this with also RG nets too. Also, no.
Correct.
So Splash Access is just another third party like RG net.
Correct. But the thing is, with this now you have unification, right? You have unification from both the solution stacks with a common user workflow, and it's turnkey.
Any other? 5 minutes?
This is WPA 2, right? Not 3 yet.
Yes, and that's because WPA 3 natively doesn't really offer a way to do IPSKs to go and do this multiple times. I mean, there are vendors who have attempted it, but in reality, it doesn't work for 6 gigahertz band because you anyway start with WPA 2 and then shift to WPA 3.
Just checking if you're having the same issues as other vendors, probably.
I mean, there are ways in which that can be done where you have a backend radius server to do it, but then that's additional steps. It's not as simple as just a password share.
Again, WPA 3, we support it, but in a way, like, for example, a lot of devices like IoT devices won't support WPA 3, which are out there. But in the Catalyst side, yes, in Meraki side 2 is coming in pretty soon.
Yeah, which also means it's 0.4 or 5 gigahertz, not 6 gigahertz.
Yeah, I mean, even with IPSK, WPA3 is supported on the Catalyst side. So we can do UDN or with IPSK WPA3. It's supported. It's starting in 17.10 release.
And to your question specifically, right, in terms of 6 gigahertz support, you'll have to change the authentication time. So if you're doing .1x, then yes. But if you're using IPSK, then.
Sorry, so just to clarify, IPSK is supported or is not supported with WPA3?
IPSK is supported in 17.3 release, 17.10 release with WPA3 on the Catalyst side. Now, when you talk about the Meraki, it is coming in. So yeah, it will be there. They will be like comparable together.
Basically, what I was saying is with WPA3, you always need a radius server at the back, and you can't do pure IPSK just on passwords in both stacks.
So you need radius on the back end, not just, you're not able to have different PS phrases.
Exactly, because you can't do anything with just PSKs in a WPA3 word.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions, comments? By the way, just for context, before we wrap, like I said, we are on a mission, and all of these unifications that you're seeing has happened in the last quarter or two. So I think it should just drive home the point of, hopefully in every session that we'll come, we'll be able to show you more of these, but that's the takeaway from here.